everybody. Welcome back to Sessions with System and Soul. I'm McKenzie Decker, and this, of course, is Benj Miller. And we're back with another episode. Today, we're going to give you some hot takes. Hot takes are just the way that I take it. I don't know what in the world Benj brought today, but the way I take it is I'm always seeing stuff about business and leadership and entrepreneurship online, and sometimes it's just controversial, or there's like two sides to the story, and I want to talk with Benj about it. So I brought something like that today. Benj, any teasers for what you brought for me?
All I know is if you're watching video, you just saw me take a fake drink because my glass is empty and I did not know it until I got it up to my mouth. But yeah, same deal. And I hope you don't get my heart rate up as much as you did last time we did this.
I know.
And we have to have a debrief session afterwards, but we'll do better.
Either that was the most successful hot take or the least successful hot take we've ever had.
Yes, definitely one of those.
Okay, well, I have a clip for you. I think this is a podcast you really like, or at least pay attention to. So maybe you've already seen this. I don't know, but I want to get your thoughts on this conversation from the Diary of a CEO podcast.
Both of them immediately. One of the things I've gotten so much criticism of online was when I publicly shared a TikTok about firing somebody because I found out that she was cheating on her significant other, and the other person also had a significant other. And as soon as I found out about it, I terminated both of them immediately.
Wait, someone was cheating with someone in the company?
Yeah.
Oh, and they both had partners?
Both had partners outside of the company. As soon as I caught wind of it, it wasn't even like a split second decision. I can't have this in my environment, especially somebody close around me. People trust me and should trust any leader to help them make their success easy.
One would say that's none of your business what they're doing when they go home.
Not to get into specifics of the particular event, but it happened to be around work.
But if it wasn't at work, you still wouldn't.
Even if it was, I would fire the person immediately.
So you'd fire someone for cheating?
If they're going to cheat on the person that they're supposed to spend the rest of their life with, do you think that they're cheating on their work? That person is a liability to the environment.
People have things in their personal life which are very different to the way that they show up professionally, though. People do all kinds of things in their personal life.
It's terrifying.
I don't consider that to be my business.
Oh, it's absolutely my business. If somebody has a problem in their personal life, they're the same person that shows up to work.
Listen, the way that I see it is if I expand the scope of my concerns, I'm going to get fucking nothing done. I don't want to be the government of your fucking personal situations as well. As long as it doesn't show up in the office.
I can't bifurcate and put in two separate buckets what somebody is doing at home and think that what they're doing at home and the confusion and the distraction isn't going to bleed over into our environment. And I would be willing to bet, and curious on your perspective of this, those people that you found out where there are different situations and different problems in their personal life, they actually do show up in their work.
Well, did you see that already?
I have not.
It's so also showing up on.
What was your reaction when you saw it?
Well, one of the reasons I wanted to bring it here is because I had a couple of thoughts, like competing thoughts around it. And I think on the one hand, I think there's a lot of elements here to consider. And I think the way that conversation went, it made it seem like it's cut and dry and an easy thing dealing with people. And I don't think I agree with that at all. I think I agree with her value system, though, to make decisions based on her value system. But I think that there's merits to both points of view that were brought up there. And so I'm just curious for you, like, how did that land immediately? And kind of like, how would you advise if you were coaching in that situation, or if you've even faced something like that before?
Well, I think your point is that she was making values-based decisions. And so for her, she's staying true to who she is. And that's 100% admirable because too many people flex and give on that. So I smiled when she said that. Like, I'm 100% on board. To me, you can't put all like personal life issues in the same bucket.
Yeah.
But something like that's a major character issue to me, like a red flag on multiple levels. So when you think about, there's certain people, and we'll stick in business context, but you take any team, a coach, whatever, they want to build something, and some people are about like excellence. We're only gonna have A players, and that's the standard, and it's excellence, excellence, excellence. And I think what she's saying is she's gonna choose character first and foremost, and she will not compromise on character. Now she's projecting her view of character. I happen to align with that. Maybe not everybody feels so strongly, but I love that, like, what she's going to build is a team with super high trust, because there's no leniency for lack of character. And so that I think it'd be really interesting. Now, I don't know who she is. I don't know about her company. I don't know about her team, but I would love to go learn about her culture and the result of those decisions she's making.
I also wondered about, and by the way, I agree with that. I mean, the bar to which she's holding those team members who fell below that bar, like she's showing everyone in her organization, this is how much this matters. I don't think there's more to that story in the episode. I don't know, but it absolutely makes sense to me for a decision like that, where there's personal issues involving one or more people within the building, within the context of the organization, like, yeah, like that you're on the right ground to make a call. I think there's a couple of things about it though, in her approach, that do concern me, as far as like, I mean, I think there's a question of how involved you get with people's lives to even know that that's going on, unless it's happening right under your nose, like there's a question there that I think he brought up about, like, well, I don't want to, there's certain information that I don't really want to be privy to unless it's brought to me. In which case, this is the other thing that occurred to me that felt in tension with what she was saying, is like, if someone is vulnerable enough to bring their failure or their issue to me, I want to approach that very carefully and with a lot of grace. And I will say, like, in that particular instance, I don't think that situation probably deserved grace, because they were being outright disrespectful of the company. But there's plenty of times when someone has a challenge going on that is a character flaw in some sense, that if it becomes apparent to me, I want to be careful with it and handle it like it's fragile,
Yeah, I agree with that. The way I heard her talking was, I didn't sense that maybe those two people, either one of the people in the situation, brought that to them, and like,
yeah,
it was like a apologetic posture about it,
yeah,
or like repentance, like, well, like, hey, I screwed up, and now I did this, and I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going that way. That would probably be a different situation than being caught, or being just like, who cares? It is what it is, and brushing it off. Those would feel very, very different. I do love the word she said. The people are going to be bifurcated. And I think it's easy to go, well, that's like distracted. And there's a million things that distract humans and bifurcate us. But one of the biggest things, and this is why I said it's a character issue, is when we become bifurcated within ourselves, we have this tension of, we are two different people. Like, usually we have a standard, but we're not living to that standard. And it's self-deception is what, like, the book Leadership and Self-Deception, it's they talk about deceiving yourself. And when you do that, you become separated from your own beliefs, and you start to kind of crumble inside. And so it's more than just being distracted. It's more than having a hobby. It's more than even the blatant breach of a relationship, but they're breaking themselves from the inside.
Yeah, that's really, I mean, that's huge. I think this is important. I mean, the example was, of course, extreme, and she answers that in such an extreme, bold way.
Yeah.
But I think it just got me thinking about, like, I mean, I can't remember what it was, years ago. You said something to me about, I was kind of irritated by it. In 1 week, there's probably like 3 or 4 people that just had personal issues that were disrupting their work. And you're like, that's just people. That's just people. And like, and in that case, it wasn't people cheating on other people. It's
right.
like just life happening. And I have to think about that all the time, because like, hopefully we work with the people that we have in our midst like for years, and life happens and mistakes happen, and stuff goes down, and there's a lot of ways that I want to be an ally to someone, even if they've made a major failure. I want to be someone who can walk alongside them if they are in that posture for it. Because I think that's what it means to be a leader that earns the highest level of trust with people. Like, and maybe I'm being idealistic, but like, I don't want to be closing my door on people that I've hopefully spent a decade or more building relationship with. But again, on the other side of that, there's a category, I think, of things that we have to hold those boundaries to in order to protect that decade for everybody else,
Yeah. It's almost more fascinating to like dissect Steven's reaction.
Yeah.
And how just shocked he was, blown away that she would have such a strong stance.
Yeah. Well, there's probably many points of view. If you're watching this, like, I don't know, give us your thoughts.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what you got. Oh, this is always so hard for me to react in the moment.
All right. So I just have a quote for you.
Okay.
A quote with some context, but the quote is this: "Your high capacity is killing you." And here's the context. This is an observation that became a quote earlier this week with a leadership team, just within a context. But I've seen this over and over. It's kind of like the quote of like, if you want something done, give it to the person who's busy, because they're just going to get it done to get it off their plate, so then go back to their other stuff. Or they're just really good at getting stuff done, so you give it to them, get it done. There's also like the person that like knows a lot about a lot, or the person that maybe doesn't know a lot but can help you. They're so high capacity they can help you process, or maybe they can't even help you process, but if you get permission from them, then it's a little bit of CYA. And so there becomes these people in organizations that are like, their high capacity becomes a magnet, and the tasks and the questions and the concerns all kind of like come into their orbit. And it's not until they like fake not having capacity that they break out of that orbit, because the antidote is really making the people make their own decisions or think for themselves or deal with their own problems. But, oftentimes this is a, founder of a company. Sometimes it's the operator. Sometimes you just have a wicked talented person that's sitting on the C-suite, and everybody knows you take all your problems to that person. And the problem is that person, high capacity, but they're slowly dying because everybody's sucking their capacity and they're not spending their resources on their most important thing.
I mean, yes, I was going to say, I think the irony is, if you're calling them if their high capacity is killing them, and it's not actually their high, might be a high capacity capability, but it's not their highest capacity, because their highest capacity would be them working on the thing that they're truly uniquely designed and their genius to do. There's some irony in there. It's like, what we're really talking about is someone who has elevated into a new stratosphere of responsibility, but they're getting pulled back in. Is that what we're talking about? Like, they're getting pulled into, everybody needs them, everybody needs their approval, everybody needs their time, everybody wants their input, when really they should be doing something else with that time and energy.
Yeah. And it's not that none of those things should happen, but it should be like 20% of what's happening. So it's their high capacity, but they're not getting to properly apply their capacity.
Yeah. That's like, okay, a million years ago, I remember this business coach saying, there's like he had 3 layers, but I'm going to remember 2 of them right now. One of them is like, when you learn, like when you are so good at something, you can do it all day long and it's inherent to you.
Yep.
And then there's like the next layer up is being able to teach somebody else how to do that. Like, to be able to look at what you do, understand it, and explain it to somebody else in a way that they can then adopt it. And I think that's like the bridge that they're probably like, if that's the case, the capacity being maxed, it's like they're not crossing the bridge of being able to say, hey, this is actually a learnable skill. this is something that you can do. So it might just be like there's a teaching moment in it. I'm speaking as well from like my own experience of the minutia that I've held on to, that you've pushed me to be like, do you really need to be doing that? like we need your hours in totally different ways, and you're spending your time, reviewing everybody's
skills though are easier than, like, the skills and the tasks become easier than the
like how
almost
they
like decisions and processing. It's like we teach people how to do the things, we forget to teach people how to think and decide and make decisions. And to be fair, it is more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm such a student of this right now. So like the way I can answer it is what I think the answer is for that, as I work with people like you and, partner with you. Even earlier this morning we were meeting, and ahead of our meeting, I'm like, what would Benj think about this? How would he think about this problem? Like that, I think that's the answer, like be a student of that person, that invaluable person. That's advice for the people who are getting the help of that high capacity leader. But I think it's the job of those people to pay attention.
Yeah.
And I think it's the job of that high capacity person to say, hey, when I think about this, here are the things that I'm thinking about. Like there's a teaching in that too. There's something that's very, very teachable about here's what I'm looking for. I think it takes an awareness to begin with for that high capacity person to go from
100%.
I just do this naturally to I can now explain it. I think for you, like when we talk about, for everyone who doesn't know, and most of you should, Benj is an insane facilitator. And every time I try to talk to him about it, you have a hard time explaining what makes it such a gift. And I think that's moving from this is what I do so well and so naturally to here's actually the mechanics behind that.
Yeah. Yes. I definitely think that the things that we do naturally are harder to teach because we don't know how we got there. The things that are harder, somebody taught us. We had to learn it, go through the awkward parts, and then, actually be able to teach it to somebody else.
I have a question.
One highlight, like walking away, is you said awareness, and it's really either a party could become aware, and that let's just call him the leader says, pause and either ask, what do you think about it? Or how are you thinking about it? Or what do you think I'm going to say? Right? Like if you're, trying to prompt them to think maybe in the same style as you. On the flip side, the leader, and this is the biggest thing, needs to stop answering.
Yeah.
And it's slower at first, but how do you think you should make this decision? How do you think you should think about this? Those kind of questions to help them learn how to process, learn how to think about it without you.
You're unique in that you've got multiple companies that you founded and are visionary CEO for or have been, and you've passed along. So you've been the high capacity person to go and build something and then hand it off. How do you think about, like, if you think about the number of times that you've done that, where you've installed someone in your place or truly handed off the high capacity to somebody else, like, what's your advice there from doing that?
Well, I have one thing going for me, which is that I'm actually not that talented at doing a lot of things. So it's easy to believe in other people. Like some people have the curse of they're really, really freaking good at doing the things. You're like that. My wife is like that. And I think it is harder to pass off to somebody else in those situations because you fear a drop in quality of the way you would do something versus they, or just different. Like you think about it different. I'm okay with that 20% different, or maybe not even as good as they're on a learning curve, because I would rather me not do it and it be 80% than me do everything and think that I'm going to get it to 100. I think that's self-deception as well, to think that my work is 100. So I love enabling other. That's the other thing that I have going for me is I actually like just love seeing other people step into new things more than I want any kind of validation from doing the thing or figuring the thing out. So
maybe that's the lesson in it is like, is it going to be more important to increase the capacity of others than to remain the most high capacity person?
Yeah. And some of it does come down to people get addicted to being validated by being needed. Right. And that's back to that addiction of being high capacity starts to kill you over time.
Yeah. Really good. In some ways I'm like, I feel like your coaching, that one was a coaching for me too. All right, well, that's our hot takes for this week. If you see something on the internet or you read something in a book and you're like, I wonder what System and Soul would say about that, then we would love to see it. So send it our way. But thanks for joining us, and thanks to Fist Bumps, who helps us produce this show and bring this content to you and make sure that it's relevant. We are so glad and grateful that you would spend your time with us, and we will catch you again next week for another episode of Sessions.